Hello everyone, welcome to Lead Genie. I know it's been a little bit of a late upload because there were multiple reasons for which I was keeping a little busy. But finally, I found some time to sort of prepare the next video for Lead Genie. And I have also been getting a lot of requests from my viewers and for which I'm extremely thankful to all of you. I would like to share a small little good news with all of you. The fact that we have just started a couple of weeks ago, Lead Genie has already been blessed with 103 subscribers, which makes me very proud because when I started Lead Genie, I did not really know how it would be received, whether people would watch it, whether they would like the videos or not. But it seems the little bit time that we have already spent on YouTube, Lead Genie has sort of managed to gather its own unique dedicated list of subscribers, which is only growing with every passing day, which makes me all the more encouraged and willed to go on with this venture. However, before I start with the with our talk today, I would just like to request all of you to keep bestowing us with your love, with your encouragement, by liking our videos, subscribing to the channel, sharing the videos, or maybe suggesting Lead Genie to your friends, so that I continue to do what I do, which is spread love for literature, spread the passion for reading, spread the passion for ancient texts as well. So back to what we were talking about in our last video. We were talking about we had sort of crossed a number of generations, and we had come down to the tier where we found that Yudhishthir, sorry, not Yudhishthir, Dhritarashtra and Pandu and Vidur, the three young princes of Hastinapur, were sort of they've grown up and they were ready to sort of take upon the responsibilities of the kingdom. And Dhritarashtra and Pandu were one after the other being married off. So as far as Dhritarashtra was concerned, we have already discussed that he was married off to the princess of Gandhar, or as you would know, modern day Kandahar, Gandhari, and it was not really a marriage of acceptance. It was rather a forceful arrangement, whereby, as a part of the arrangement, Gandhari was almost again abducted from her hometown, and she was brought over to Hastinapur and married off to Dhritarashtra. Now, before we go over to Pandu, discussing Pandu and his two wives, I would like to throw some light here on the very, very significant character and a very strong women voice in the form of Gandhari that we come across from now on in the Mahabharata. What happens when Gandhari marries Dhritarashtra? She, being this young, beautiful, intelligent, strong-willed princess from Kandahar, when she is married off to Dhritarashtra, she accepts her fate. And she doesn't just accept her fate by the dint of the fact that she would continue to be in this marriage, but she also considers marriage to be an arrangement of equals, to be a relationship of equals. So when she realizes that Dhritarashtra is naturally blind and he cannot see, as a wife, she feels that to be able to see, to be able to be better off, physically more capacitated than one's husband, is not something that a wife should enjoy. So as a chosen state of being, as a chosen way of life, she decides to take upon blindness. She places she decides to lead a life of eternal blindness for as long as she lives, by permanently sort of placing a piece of cloth around her eyes and literally by choice sort of thrusting blindness upon her, which would then make her the same as her husband. Now, this is a choice that she makes. You need to remember that women and their position amidst the society have been uh, sort of compromised within the Indian subcontinent across generations since Varnashram. And having said that, for a woman who already knows that she is being pushed into a forceful marriage, she has not been allowed to uh, have any say or take any call whatsoever in this arrangement. And the fact that this is a husband she doesn't even know as a man. She has never known this individual, what kind of a man he is, what are his hobbies, what is he like, how does he speak, what is his temperament. And then she has been pushed to live a life in companionship with him. She doesn't have a choice. In addition to all those situations where she doesn't have a call, where she doesn't say a no to all of that, despite all of that, this woman chooses upon blindness willingly. And she's not just taking this decision without having thought about it. She has well thought about the fact that when she says, okay, I'm going to go on with this forever, it means it's a lifelong decision, it's a life-changing parameter. But she stands by that. So that tells us a lot about the voice of the individual and the strength of a woman's choice, irrespective of the fact that we are discussing an ancient Indian text here, where essentially patriarchy is a necessary characteristic of the society, where essentially men are placed above women in a very open state of hierarchy when it comes to their position, their choices, their demands, their rights, the place, the voice that they are allowed by the society. Irrespective of that, the fact that a woman chooses to extend that kind of respect to a relationship, extend that kind of a commitment to the institution of marriage, actually tells you a lot about this very strong woman character who, on her own, irrespective of the fact as to what is expected of her, is choosing to make decisions. And she's choosing to make those decisions given the fact that she knows and she's confident that she has the required amount of strength to endure those decisions. So that, for me, makes Gandhari one of the most powerful, one of the most self-respecting, one of the most spined woman voices in the entirety of the Mahakam. Right? Okay. Now coming to Pandu. Pandu, as we know, had two wives. The first was Kunti, the other was Madri. Kunti was the daughter of the king Shaurashen, who was the king of the Yadavas. And Madri was the daughter of King Shallo, who, because he couldn't pay the required amount of taxes to the throne of Hastinapur, had offered his daughter as an offering to this kingdom, and Bhishma, in return for various gifts, a little bit of financial help, etc., a little bit of military and army, armed forces, sort of accepted Madri as an offering from the kingdom of Shalya, and then married her off to Pandu. Nonetheless, before we get to Madri, let's talk about Kunti. Now, before Kunti gets married to Pandu, there is an anecdote that follows her early life. As I've already told you, Kunti was the daughter of the king Shaurashen of the Yadava dynasty, and as a young princess, she was extremely disciplined, well-behaved. She was known for her, for her character, her piety, her commitment to service. So, given that, one day the deeply sort of revered sage Durbasha, the one known for his anger and his, this is the same Durbasha from Kalidasa's Abhigyana Shakuntalam who famously cursed Shakuntala when she failed to listen to his call, that, the one in whose thoughts she's lost, the same individual would forever forget her, uh, all her memories, everything that they ever shared in a relationship will be forgotten by the man. And hence, what happened to Shakuntala follows. But let's not get into that story right now. That same Durvasha I'm talking about, he visits the kingdom of King Shorshen, and he chooses to spend a night at the palace. And during this stay, Kunti, being Kunti, sort of provided Sage Durvasa with immense hospitality, unthinkable service, in a way that was so much so that even somebody like Sage Durvasa was deeply moved and extremely satisfied with the way he was treated in this palace. So next day when he's about to leave, he gives a boon. He blesses Kunti with a boon. And what was this boon? He entrusted upon her memory a mantra which was so powerful that if uttered, the person who was uttering could, reminisce any of the gods in the Indian pantheon of gods, and the particular god about whom she is thinking in her mind while she is pronouncing the mantra, he would appear, and in return would also endow Kunti with a son. So the young princess was extremely excited. She couldn't believe herself that this was actually a boon endowed upon her, and she wanted to try it. That's human nature, right? When we are told, see, this is being given to you and this is what it does. So before we have tested it enough, we cannot convince ourselves that yes, this will be how it is supposed to be. So what she does is, in her youthful excitement, the next morning, before anyone else is awake in the palace, right at the break of dawn, she stands on the ledge of her room on the royal palace balcony, and she looks at the dawn, at the rising sun, and she thinks of the sun god Suryadev, and she utters the mantra, this incantation, this holy incantation. And what happens? Immediately she sees that the sky starts brightening up, the clouds move away, and emerges out of it on his royal chariot and the 7 horses that pull his chariot, none other than the sun god. He comes and stands in front of, he's sort of hovering in the air, the way we have seen it in the popular cinematic adaptations and the popular television adaptations of such situations in various popular shows. We have seen how they are shown hovering in the air. So he's hovering in the ethereal space in front of her, and says, "Oh dear princess, you have uttered the great incantation, and here I am, and this is my blessing for you. This is the boon. This is your son, our son, that I give you in return as a gift." And this is when, and after he has placed the newborn, this almost this newborn with a halo around his head and beautiful kavach and kundals are the holy divine earrings that baby Karna, and this is Karna, of course, Karna was born with, and a kavach is an armor on his chest, the beautiful golden sun inscribed armor and earrings the newborn is born with, which is supposed to be his divine protection. He places the newborn in Kunti's hands and says, "That's my blessing for you," and he disappears. And this is when Kunti realizes what went wrong. She realizes, oh my God, I am an unmarried girl, and this is a child I have mothered, and this is a son that's born out of wedlock, and I will not be accepted by the society, nor will my son be accepted by the society in any way that can be thinkable. So what does she do? Now remember, though she knows that the patriarchal hierarchy structure of the society will not allow her the space to call out this child as her own and nurture it as her own, nonetheless, the narrative is quote unquote, gutsy enough and modern enough to actually give us a woman who at that tender age is shown to be a single mother. And she went ahead and actually exercised we sort of for a moment take away all that magical part of this story, the incantation and the emergence of the sun god, etc., etc., and just look at it from an objective perspective as a modern reader trying to understand the situation in the narrative. Just look at what happened here. This is a young girl who, irrespective of all the chains and checks and balances and all the, what should I say, careful observation that the society casts upon, is supposed to cast upon the sexuality of a single girl, that too in a society of the time that the Mahakabha was all about. She actually steps out of those shackles, she actually steps out of those chains, and she is courageous enough to exercise her claim to her own sexuality. She claims her agency to decide whether she will become a single mother or not, and she actually gives birth to a son. If you sort of empirically, scientifically look at it, right, Kunti becomes a single mother because this is an ethereal father somewhere who is never to be found, who is not tangibly present in the real world. So she's a single mother, she's a single girl who knew she had the capacity and hence went ahead and uttered that incantation and gave birth to a son. That's also a very powerful girl, isn't it? So we have to say that whether it is Ved Vyas singularly or whether it is a generation of storytellers over a long period of across centuries who have actually whose storytellings and singings have actually sort of brought into being the entire Mahabharata, all these men or women, we don't really know for sure, all these storytellers and speakers in collective have actually managed to be quite ahead of their time, because let alone the situations, even the female characters that we come across in the Mahakavya are so ahead of their times. They're so free thinking, they're so what should I say, self-sufficient in a way that a lot of women today, say 2023, wouldn't be able to be courageous in a way that they are. So that way I actually can't help but really tell you how passionately I feel about these very, very strong women characters that I come across in the Mahabharata. Well, so that is Kunti. So what does she do? Then, of course, she has to do something. She cannot dispose of the child. This is her firstborn. She's a young mother. She's in love with her son. So, but then she knows that she cannot hold on to the child because that way the society won't really give her enough space, nor would actually look at this child with the required amount of respect that it would need to grow up and have a healthy childhood and thereon a healthy adult life. So she decides to put this child, she sort of tucks it away in a little hay basket and sort of puts it down the Ganges. And she just prays that the baby is rescued and somebody sort of takes upon the responsibility, loves it, cares it, and nurtures it. Cut to, she is the one who is chosen to become Pandu's first wife. So she's married off to Pandu. Nonetheless, after Pandu is married to Kunti and Madri, after a while, as people's concern are, what is the reason? Why isn't she giving birth? Why aren't any of the queens giving birth? Because neither was Gandhari rearing any children, nor was Kunti and Madri rearing any children. So everybody, including Satyavati, of course, were very concerned. What's the issue? Why aren't things falling into place? Because functionality of women and consummation of a marriage is always seen in the procreation of a child. In this case, all the more so because in the procreation of a child depends the continuity of the rule, the continuity of the dynasty, and thereon the safety of the kingdom. Right? So right now, everybody's concern was when will or who will be the first to father, because right now nobody is yet to decide who is going to sit upon the throne of Hastinapur. Right? Well, but then I realized that because this has been a rather late upload, I've been able to indulgent and sort of cross way ahead of how long I had initially decided I will make my videos to be. Nonetheless, I will stop here and sort of come back in the next video, picking upon the story from here. Thank you everyone, signing off. And as I have already requested all of you, if you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel, please like my videos and hit the bell icon so that every time I upload a video, you know that it's up there, and you do not miss any of them. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next time at hashtag lead gym.